All right, guys, finally making this video, man, and I apologize, but the NFL kept trying to give me copyright warnings, so I had to resort to using just screenshots. But before we dive into this video, man, I'm going to remind you to subscribe, cut on your notifications, and hit that like button. But like I said, guys, unfortunately, I'm unable to use the trailer, but it is what it is. You guys have seen it 100 times by now. I can only use these screenshots because whatever reason, the NFL was trying to give me copyright warnings, and I said, nah, you're not gonna get me like that. So I've recut this video about 3 times now, so here we go. Now, we all know the yard has been revealed. We all know that this is a new mode that was already leaked, and now it's officially been revealed, so we've pretty much known about this for a while. Now, it is good for those people who are interested in this to get more details, and now it's fully on display. But I'm not really taking that approach in this video. I'm not taking that approach as far as just talking about the yard. Many others, I'm sure, have already done that. I want to approach this from a different angle and just to, give you guys some insight as far as, where my mind goes at times, and how I come up with certain theories, etc., etc. Now, before we do that, I'm definitely going to address the elephant in the room. Yes, fix Madden franchise. Yes. It's not good to continue seeing these type of things come into the game and no franchise updates, right? No improvements or, any new innovation or what have you for franchise. It's really frustrating, because this is pretty much the 4th time, in this console generation, and I could be missing out, or not missing out, excuse me, I could be missing or leaving out one feature that I'm not recalling right now, but this is at least the 4th time that this has happened. You think about Long Shot, you think about Face of the Franchise, you think about Superstar KO, or is it KO Superstar? I can't never remember the order of that name, and then you think about this, the yard. That's 4 new modes for the most part that have been implemented into Madden, and franchise has pretty much stayed the same. But here's the thing. We already know that for Madden 21. That is the whole reason why Fix Madden franchise became a thing, and it's still a thing. And I encourage all of you guys to do the same thing I'm going to do and keep that movement strong, keep that movement going, and definitely hold EA accountable for what they're showing us or showcasing in the, the roadmap that they're giving us for Madden 21 and Madden 22 as far as franchise mode. We got to hold them accountable for that now, right? I know a lot of people are going to say, well, we've been asking for updates. We have. But again, and I said this in a prior video, never have we seen it to this degree where they're literally telling us their plans for the future. Because, at this point, I think they realize that the community voice is strong. Anytime you can trend #1 on Twitter for a short amount of time, nonetheless, but it was #1, and you got places like Wendy's chiming in, yeah. The big dogs saw that. So they know they can't really play no games with us anymore. At least I hope that's what they're realizing. But anyway, I just wanted to say that as an aside. I see a lot of people going off and, they're going crazy over the fact that the yard was introduced and, they're saying, oh man, but what about franchise? I get it. I'm right there with you, but we already know that. We're pretty much past that point of thinking there's going to be any type of real franchise improvements for Madden 21. So that ship has pretty much sailed. So let me get into my theories, man. The first theory that I have about this yard, right? Now follow me on this. The way I look at this, right? Of course it's competition for 2K. Of course it's inspired by 2K Sports, but I'm going to give you 2 scenarios of why, how I think it's being inspired. First and foremost is the most obvious, my career. We already know, 2K is leading the charge with that. And I thought Madden would try to combat that with a superstar mode. Instead of Face of the Franchise that was introduced last year, it was very bare bones. And to be honest, it's still pretty bare bones going into year 2. It's still nowhere close to what my career is, in so many ways. I mean, one of the main differences, of course, is the fact that your My Career player basically follows you in, throughout a whole lot of different modes, right? You could take that same player to the league. You can say, take that same player on the court as far as the playground, and you can play in Pro-Am. Multiple modes that you can use the same creative player. That is not the case in Madden. But it looks like with the yard, they're trying to do something like that as far as the customization piece. Still not the depth. But the customization piece, it seems like they're trying to compete with 2K there. But here's the big thing. Again, this is just my theory. I actually think they're competing with a 2K product that's not even out yet. Yeah. I think EA caught wind of 2K possibly getting back into the race, if you will, with an NFL licensed product, even though it's quote unquote non-simulation. I definitely think EA knew about that. And let me explain to you why. Y'all remember the whole famous quote from Rex, "Come at me, bro," when he said, "Yo, 2K, get the license, put the money up, etc., etc." Well, let me tell you a little story really, really quick, man, and I'm not going to name names or anything like that. But all the way back then, I was told at that time, and it wasn't by Rex, it was, someone else within EA. I was told that they knew that the licensing was going to get to a point where other companies may have a chance at it, right? All the way back then. And you would ask yourself, well, how would they know that? Well, one reason is, like I've always said, when you're in the same industry as someone else, you generally know what's going on. Whether it's leaks or you got inside, a mole inside that studio and a mole inside your studio and, inside information. Most of the time when you're in the like industry as another company or competition, y'all generally know what each other are doing. That's just how it goes, right? And I figured they know what's coming. But on top of that, again, by being told by someone at EA that they knew what was going to happen way back then, it makes me think because of the relationship they had with the NFL probably told them. Again, this is just a theory. I don't know if any of this is fact. But you would think when you're in business with somebody, maybe the NFL was like, yo, we're interested in, possibly doing this with X, Y, and Z company. Just, shared information, just as a courtesy. So what does EA do? You introduce pretty much a non-simulation NFL style game within your game. Now, I know the jokes are going to fly. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, oh, well, Madden is not a simulation anyway. But that's not what I'm talking about, guys. Y'all know what I'm referring to. And we know what we're referring to from a corporate standpoint when we talk about what's a simulation and what's a non-simulation in terms of product, right? To give you a quick example, you're not going to see an all-pro football from 2K Sports, all-pro football 2K21, and it's NFL players. No, that's not going to happen because that's going to be too close to quote-unquote simulation. What you're probably going to see is something like this, something like the yard, but I think where 2K can excel, if I was them, I would blow gameplay out the water. Yeah, it's a quote-unquote non-simulation product, but gameplay-wise, everything that happens represents real football. That's how you make your point known, and that's how you compete with now the yard. Yeah, I said it. Compete with the yard. And the reason why I'm saying that is whether you guys like it or not, this is definitely going to attract a brand new audience, and it's going to be popular. So in reality now, it puts the ball in 2K's court to compete with this. Because remember, we're not talking about apples to apples here in terms of simulation football product. Remember, it was known, very well known, and it was made known by multiple, entities, whether it was EA or the NFL or even 2K. It was made known that this will be a non-simulation NFL product that they're producing beginning in 2021. So I think that's interesting. I really believe that EA caught wind of what they were doing and or they were advised, and here's their counter. Right? Now here's my second theory, and I'll get out of you guys' hair. Just give me a couple more minutes. This is gonna sound funny, guys, because if it comes true, I'm gonna sound like a genius. If it doesn't come true, you guys are gonna say you were just wishful thinking. But remember when I said I feel like this time around it's gonna be different in terms of next level? and what's being advertised for Madden 21 next level, right? And a lot of us compare it to, we compare it to what we were told for Madden 25 when Andrew Wilson, basically said what we could expect. So we were all thinking we were going to get that game that year on the Ignite engine, right? Never happened. Never really came into fruition. But you've heard me say over the last couple weeks, I think this time is going to be different for multiple reasons. For one, I think Andrew Wilson is fully aware of how things turned out back then. Again, just speaking to some sources, I've been advised, they know. They know they can't have that situation again. And that's saying a lot without saying a lot, right? But also, it goes back to the first point I made in this video. I think being in the same industry, you kind of know what 2K is doing and what other games are doing and how they're going to approach these next generation consoles. 2K has been clear in telling us that 2K21 has been built from the ground up for next gen consoles. I have a feeling, again, a feeling and a theory, that EA may be following suit. I have a strong feeling that the Madden 21 that we're going to see on current generations is not going to be the same game that we will see for the next generation. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be this completely different game. I'm not going that far. But I have a feeling that optimize means more than what you think. I think it will resemble more of what we saw in the trailer for Next Level, whether it was CG or not. I think we will see the game that represents what is being spoken of as far as the blog, not really the blog, but the article explaining to you what you can expect in Next Level. I think we're going to see that this year. I don't think it's going to be like foreshadowing no more where they're telling you what it's capable of doing. I actually think that Madden 21 and FIFA will represent everything that they are referring to in that next level information. I know, sounds crazy, don't it? But I have a hunch. Because like I said, this is just a theory, but there's a lot of things that's making me feel this way. Some of which I'm not sharing. And yes, I will answer the question. A lot of you are going to say, you must know something. I don't. I don't. Because trust me, if I knew something, I wouldn't be able to talk like this in the video. Because then it clearly would appear as if I'm trying to walk you down a certain path, right? I know zero. I know absolutely nothing about next gen Madden. I'm just going off of a hunch, using some calculated decisions, as far as what I'm thinking in my mind, and trying to have an educated guess. But that's kind of how I'm approaching this whole thing, man, with the yard. Like I said, number one, the competition, where they're trying to at least, get into that fan base as far as like the 2K My Career fan base. See if they can swing some of those guys to try something out, something like My Career in a sense. Try that out in Madden. But also, I think it has more to do with 2K being able to start making NFL games that are non-simulation come 2021. And because of that same reasoning, because they know what competition is doing, is the same reason why I think Next Level Madden this year will be a different game in terms of how it functions. I don't know features and all that. I'm just talking about how it performs. I think it would be a different game because it would behoove them to also do what 2K has said they've done and build from the ground up. Because if 2K comes out and that game looks anywhere close to what we saw in the Zion Williamson trailer, Ronnie 2K saying that is actual gameplay. If the gameplay matches the speculation and them saying they built it from the ground up and Madden ain't on that level, Madden could be in some serious trouble. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, 2K is already blowing them out the water. Yeah. But pay attention, folks. 2K is starting to release earlier and earlier. They almost releasing in August this year, almost. It's almost August. If I'm not mistaken, I saw, September 4th? And Madden's official release date is August 28th. Keep playing if you want to, EA. There will be a lot of converted football video game players converting all the way over to basketball, and they'll be rocking 2K, especially if it delivers. So again, because of all of those reasons and some other information, that I'm just piecing together, yeah, I think Next Level Madden might just be what's being advertised. And I'll end it with this. It still has to perform. This is all still TBD. Even if we knew for sure it was going to be that, it's still going to come down to how they execute. And that's always going to be the bottom line. But all right, guys, I didn't even think this video would go this long. I appreciate you sticking in and, holding in there with me if you watched the whole thing. And if you didn't, hey, I understand. But outside of that, I'm going to remind you again, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, cut on your notifications, hit that like button. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.